Hey, hi all. In this video, we will discuss about profile. So, what is profile in Salesforce? So, to check what all profiles you have in your Salesforce org, you have to go to setup and then you have to just search for profiles. You have to click on the profiles. So, majorly, profile defines how user access objects and data in the org and what they can do within a particular application. So if they can edit a particular field, if they can create a record in that in a particular object, this type of settings are defined on, or this type of settings are defined in profile. And every org has several standard profiles where you can edit a limited number of settings. So for an example, system administrator is one of the profile which is already available in the org, which when you create for some of the additions. And so you can just clone the particular standard profile, and then you can make the settings which you want, or according to your business requirement you can change that in the cloned profile, not in the profile which is standard one, which is given by the Salesforce. And the additions that contain custom profiles, you can edit all permissions and settings except the user license. So the user license will be derived from the profile which you have cloned from. Every profile belongs to exactly one user license type. So so for an example, if you want to assign a particular user system administrator profile, at that time the user license will be, or the user license type will be Salesforce. You can create custom profiles using the API. And majorly profile handles object permissions. So on object, when we say object, so in object it can be whether you can create a particular record on that object, you can see all the records on that particular object, you can delete a particular record in that object. So that type of permissions we give through profiles. And majorly when we say object, so in that there are multiple fields on a particular object which also which you can handle using profile, or you can set the visibility or the access, whether it will be editable, whether it will be read only, uh, by going to that particular object and then by going to that particular field. That we will see later in the video. Then we can manage the tab settings, we can create custom permissions, we can manage session settings according to business requirement, we can have password policies according to business requirement, and then we can manage the system permissions as in for the single sign on, what all permissions you require. So some of the permissions are system permissions, and then you can manage the administrative permissions also. So just we will go to one of the profiles for an example. These are the multiple profiles which we have in our org. And as you can see, if your particular profile is custom, then this particular checkbox will be checked. Okay. And if you go to any one of the profile, for an example, this is a system administrator profile. If you go to this, in the system administrator profile, if you see the name is system administrator and the user license is Salesforce. It's not a custom profile, it's the standard profile. It is last modified by salesforce.com. Okay. So these are the page layouts. So all layouts, you can view the assignment, like for this particular profile, which type or which record type and the page layout is assigned. All the stuff you can see from here. Then custom objects layout, these are all the standard objects. These are all the standard objects. And below this we have some of the custom objects which we have created. Then field level security, standard field level security. For an example, you want to check the field level security of account number or account name, any field on account object. So just you have to click on this view, and then account name, field type name, read access and edit access. So through this you can see, if you want to make multiple fields read only, then you have to just edit, and then you can remove this edit access from the fields. So these fields will be read only for that particular user who is owning this particular profile, or who is having this particular profile. Then we have to go to back to profile. If we scroll down a little bit, then this is about the field level security. This is the object name, and if once you click on the view, you will get the all the fields which are there on that particular object. Then we have custom app settings. So one app will be your default apps. It means that whenever you log in into the Salesforce, this will be your default app. Then you can navigate to any one of the app, and if the particular visible checkbox is checked, it means that that particular app will be visible to you. Then we have connected app access, then tab settings, which we talked about. We can manage the tab settings. So if it is default on, it is on for all. If it is default off, it is you will not be able to see that. If it is tab hidden, the tab will be hidden, but you can use in some of the objects like lookup. If you are using it in lookup relationship, like you have account object, and in that account object you have one of the custom object, and the tab setting of that particular custom object is tab hidden. At that time, if you click on that particular lookup, you will be redirected to that. But if the tab if it is default off, then you will not be able to redirect to that particular uh, object, lookup object. So then we have record type settings. And this is also like what is the default record type, and then you can edit it also. So all the settings are there in this administrative permissions. So there are some of the administrative permissions. If you see API enabled, API only user, Apex REST services. If you are making a call out to third party API, it should be from that particular profile. So for an example, you are making a third party call out from a profile on which these particular things are not checked. The user will not be able to pass the data to that particular third party. Okay. uh, then we have general user permissions, access activities, access to view data, assessment data sources. These are some of the permissions. Standard object permissions. So if you want to have this particular profile so that they can create accounts, read accounts, but they will not be able to edit or delete it, you can remove these permissions. So this is the this is data administrative permissions. View all, modify all. If you have modify all permissions, you will have all these permissions. If you have view all permission, you will have read permission. Okay. Administrative permissions overrides whatever access you have. Okay. Administrative permissions are superior. Then we have custom object permissions. Then we have session settings. Session times out after 2 hours of inactivity. Session security level required at login. So when once you log in into that particular session, if the session is times out, then you have to log in again. Then you can set the password policies according to your business requirement. What will be your login hours, what will be your login IP ranges, that you can define here. Enabled Apex classes, it is like if you have a particular visual force page, in that if you have used a particular controller, and if a user has logged in, but they are not able to see the data which is expected on that particular visual force page, because they don't have the access on that particular controller, that is a Apex class. So from here you can just click on edit, and then there will be some of the available Apex classes. Then you have to just add it here, then you have to just save it. Then they will be able to see that particular data in that particular VF page. So that's all about profiles which we have. Then there are some of the other permissions which we manage. One might be this enable customer permissions. You can enable them, and then you can use them accordingly. Enable flow access, enable custom setting definition access, enable custom metadata type access. So these are the different type of settings which you can manage via profile. So profile plays a major role, or the vital role in Salesforce, because profile defines what you can see, what you can do in Salesforce system. One user will have one profile. One profile, multiple users can have same profile. Same profile can be uh, can be used by multiple users, but one user will have one profile at a time in Salesforce. Every profile will be tagged to a particular user license. Okay. So that's all for profiles. Thank you.